podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Welcome to No Question About That. We are reviewing Wolves 1, Manchester United 4 with Daniel today. A victory. What a
team.
What a team. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the main reason is Wolves are dreadful.
Just so unbelievably bad. I couldn't believe they were basically playing with three at the back and no one else. It was Ten Hag ball, but with even worse players, if you can imagine it.
It kind of, I even when they scored, my dad called me at half-time and complained. I said, we're definitely going to win. The question is, are we seeing signs of an emergent team? And the answer is not really, maybe a little bit, I suppose. And I feel like, unfortunately, in my mind, I sort of categorise this as an appointment that's not going to work out. Because at this point, it can't be like this, and it is. And it feels like, because he won't change the formation, the only solution is get me better players.
Buy more players.
Really.
Yeah.
And it's just, it doesn't. But there was some, it got better, I guess. Like, there's in the end, there's some good players in that team. If he has these players available, the team should always do some good things in a match because there's some good ass players there.
There are some good-ass players. It's just a shame that, to use modern parlance, he doesn't platform more of them in positions where they can really showcase what they can do. It's really hard to tell what to take away from this game because Wolves are already Championship standard, and I'd say they've probably given up already. I know they appointed Rob Edwards, but I imagine that's with a view to when they get new owners starting in the Championship next summer. Basically, they were just suicidal in the way they played, Wolves. They pushed both of their wing-backs really high up the pitch. And so every time United broke, they had an overload on at least one side, and sometimes more because the centre-backs are just dreadful as well for Wolves.
Which is a little funny thing because one of the things, you don't see that very often with this team. They don't work a lot of overloads because they're so ponderous and because they don't have very much width. You very rarely see them getting overloads, and they got absolutely loads of them today, which tells you how shite Wolves are. And when you talk about platforming the players, and even, was Cunha kind of nominally the centre forward today? Because because to me, he's a failed centre forward.
Yeah,
who only became a player that you'd want when he stopped being a centre forward. Yeah.
It's mad, isn't it? Really, he's reinvigorated his career through a new position. So he took a downgrade, a pay grade, everything downgrade when he moves from Atletico to Wolves. They're just a much bigger club, but that's because he failed to make it in a team that plays two centre forwards as well. And he seems to be our backup. We talked about it before. I'd much rather Mbeumo was through the middle than Cunha, basically. And that did happen because they found, it makes much more sense, but they found some rotation in these forwards in the last few games.
I thought Cunha played well tonight, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That looked a bit nervous almost at the beginning when the first goal, you got to put that away, I'm afraid. You can't play it behind, but I felt like a confident Cunha just gets rid of that. But I thought he played well after that, did the things that we know he can do. Never stopped trying to make things happen and all the flicks and stuff, but because he's flicks with a purpose, Cunha. And I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah, I really like him as a player.
He loves the double slot rocket.
He loves shooting. I know that. He had about 10 shots tonight.
After the first goal, double snot rocket, and on various other occasions, he's actually, maybe he's just got a cold, I don't know, but
clear out the sinuses. Yeah, I really like him as a player. It's just a bit of a weird purchase because we bought him to effectively replace Bruno in the side, and I don't know if it's working really. Would it have been better to spend 70 million on a central midfield to keep Bruno in one of the more forward positions? And have a central midfielder. We'd like all of these things, right? But yes. I just wonder whether it made the right strategic sense.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like you're taking. I mean, because you watch Bruno tonight, and again, like I feel like every time we say anything good about anything any United player did, we have to be like, "But this absolutely disgusting football team that we played." But even today, like didn't play that well tonight, but he still scores twice, makes chances, and he's just a creation machine. And even though we're trying to stop him from being one by taking him away from that area, I mean, it felt like on the one hand you could see replacing Bruno a bit more physicality up front, but on the other hand, he's still here, and we've got some other dickheads that definitely need replacing before him.
Most certainly.
I think
yeah.
If you'd have offered me a choice though between Cunha and Mbeumo at the time, I would definitely have gone for Cunha. He's someone I guess I'd watched and thought I'd like him, and Mbeumo was someone I'd watched and thought was good but didn't covet. But I guess if it was Bruno playing there, you'd want a bit of pace.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the goals. I mean, the first one's just a ridiculous piece of defending. I mean, what is he doing? I mean, when you're caught napping by Casemiro.
And it felt like it was so obvious he was sneaking up on him. Do you know what I mean? It was like a dad like doing it with a child, like big footsteps.
He's behind you, Panto style. Yeah. I mean, he didn't even properly press at first, Casemiro, because I think he just assumed that the guy's got so much space to play the ball backwards, but he just didn't do it. And Cunha made a faff of the pass behind Bruno. Bruno falls over and still scores. I mean, it's just comedy all round. Yeah.
I guess Bruno did well to score from there. You could say that, I suppose. And it felt a bit like a goal was coming, that you're watching the game. Like, at no point did I think we're not going to win this game. And I haven't felt like that very often. And
United managed to sustain the attacks, had 27 shots on goal, I think. I mean, this was never in doubt. It was more about when they were going to put it away. I mean, there was, let's say, an interesting reaction online after Wolves going at half-time. 1-1. So they haven't scored since October, by the way, Wolves have. And that's only their 8th goal in the league all season. But it was a bloody brilliant ball, first time volleyed cross. I don't know where that quality came from.
Yeah, it felt like, and we said this, I think, sometimes you concede goals and you're like, there's not that much specific sometimes that anyone could have done when the opposition just go boom, boom, and it works. But the sloppiness that led to the throw that led to the goal was exceptional.
Yeah, like plane crashes, multiple things have to go wrong all at once, and United managed to do that quite a lot.
Our old friend, the consecutive errors goal.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't that. I didn't think it was quite that because play was restarted. But if they'd have scored straight from that, it would have been without the ball going out of play. Because I think that's against the rules. It would have been one of the consecutive error goals. I mean, talking of the defence, what did you make of Heaven?
I thought he had a better game tonight without a lot to do. I mean, he had Strand Larsen, but they had plenty of cover back there because Wolves didn't throw enough players into forward areas when they got it. So he did all right tonight. He looked really nervous the other night, didn't he? He made a couple of mistakes early on, and Amorim was out trying to tell him to calm down and then hooked him at half-time anyway. So I thought it was a shame today that he didn't get the full game. I mean, why not play him the full game?
Because I think that he gives you much more on the ball than De Ligt. And again, like I'm obviously prefacing it with that was a disgusting football team we played, but he does obviously have more passing ability and probably more carrying ability than De Ligt does. And I agree. I didn't want him to go off either because I thought at the time, when he was bringing on Yoro and Martinez, I'm thinking, oh, good, he's going to take off the 2 wide centre-backs. And I guess not what I think is our best back three, but if this back three could be our best back three, it would be a really good back three. It's sort of with the most range of things is like Martinez, Heaven, Yoro. If those players could all get good enough to be in our back three, they've got the best footballing ability to then elevate it to something like what the manager wants. In parentheses, I know what the manager wants is unobtainable. It's not going to happen ever. But if it were to, those are the guys that I feel like I would have the best chance of making it work.
Yeah, I do agree with that. The passing on the ball, the ability to play out of the back, we might see a bit less hoofball.
Speed to defend the challenge, speed to defend the channels. And when Martinez came on again against an absolutely disgusting Liverpool team, the way that he was moving the ball, you could see was very helpful to what this, like, he's just much more deft in the way he moves the ball than Shaw.
Yeah. I mean, Shaw's comfortable on the ball, but range of passing isn't the same. I wonder whether we won't see quite a bit more of Martinez in the second half of this season on the left side with De Ligt in the middle. He does like a box defender in there. I think Amorim, although De Ligt obviously doesn't have the passing range of the other two. The question on the right side, since Yoro's been dropped after, I guess, a few challenging games, that'll be an interesting. Mazraoui's come in after not playing any games in the beginning of the season. He gives you comfort on the ball, ability to invert, push into those midfield positions, which in the absence of an actual midfielder in making up the third midfield position is what we have to do with.
Isn't it? He wants the outside centre backs to be the playmakers, like, and then so people doing not what they are, and then he wants the players that are midfield players to play in midfield. It's a strange do, it really is. And the problem that he has is he doesn't, when it's not working, he doesn't have options.
Yeah.
His only option is changing personnel, and he doesn't, as it happens, have options in his squad really very much. But even if
it's always like for like, it's not systemic changes either.
That's what I'm saying. It's always going to be a version of that, which is why it almost I feel more confident in saying I don't think this is going to work, because he's not going to change anything. And I don't think that the thing that he's asking them to do is probably exactly achievable and be achievable in the way that he's asking them to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the sporting sides in Liga NOS, is it? Primera Liga, just were able to bully their opponents, and just never going to happen in the Premier League. Maybe a game like tonight, but most of the way down the league, you're not going to out physical anyone, and it's got to be tactical and technical. Tactical, we're giving up so much.
And I was thinking, which two midfield players would I want? And I was thinking, well, what if you had Keane and Vieira? And then it was like, okay, but like, if I could, I'd have Scholes as well. I'd have all three of them, because I want fucking three midfield players in my football team. And almost all the good ones have that.
Yeah, the irony is, most top teams around the world will play some variant of three in midfield. There obviously variants.
And more men in there to try and make overloads.
There's more men in there, and they'll play some variant of a defensive/destroyer, a playmaker, and a linker, a connector, right? So, if you look at Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro at Real Madrid, defender, linker, playmaker. If you had that at United, you'd have Casemiro, Mainoo, and Bruno, defender, linker, playmaker.
And you wouldn't have pure attackers either, because you wouldn't have pure attackers either, because you wouldn't have that fucking extra centre back or wing backs you'd have. I was thinking about this, and maybe I have this one for the tactics pod. Like, what do I think my ideal team is with this squad? Like, I was kind of thinking, what's my 3-4-3 team or whatever, 3-4-2-1, and but actually, I'm picking a 4-3-3 team, obviously. And who would I have?
Who would you have then, Daniel? Well, since you've asked the question, you should answer it.
Lemons, who, like, I'm really enjoying having no drama from the keeper. Like, it doesn't even matter how good he is. It just has to not be either of those two dickheads, really. Yeah.
He hasn't chucked one in yet. There's a couple that you're like, maybe he could have done better, maybe not. Who knows? But
not a liability. Incredible scenes. So him. Then, and I'm saying what I said before. I know this is not feasible at this point, but Yoro, Heaven, Martinez would be my. I know, but I'm not. What am I doing? I'm not having a fucking back tree, am I?
Yeah, you've ditched it. You've gone straight into the tactics panel of Football Manager.
So I guess I'm
switching it up.
I guess I'm going Dallo, Yoro, Martinez, and Shaw, Casemiro, Mainoo, and Bruno, because we know that Casemiro and Bruno is bollocks, but it's not great, that either. And Bumo, Sesko, Cunha.
Yeah, that's about right, I think.
That's got to be better than this.
You did have Dallo in there, though, mind you.
I mean,
is he a better all-rounder than Mazraoui?
Okay, I'd happily. I've gone Dalot because I want a bit more physicality, I suppose, but I'd happily have Mazraoui.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
New Year, same extra value meals at McDonald's. So now get 2 snack wraps, plus fries, and a medium soft drink for just $8.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
It's a counterfactual that we can't really prove, but I imagine that is a good enough team to get into a European place. I mean, we might even have it anyway, right? So the league as a whole is doing its very best to fuck up regularly, and most weekends we've managed to fuck up along with them. Thankfully, not this weekend, extended weekend.
I mean,
yeah.
You know, what else I was, we kind of watched Xerxes, and it's like, he's half the man he used to be. Like, he turned up like Bosnich. It's unbelievable, really, that you think you come to a new club.
Yeah.
When you're like going up a division, you're going up a level, like getting a lot more money, you're playing the Premier League from Serie A. I mean, obviously, yeah, like the Premier League is a higher standard than Serie A. I don't feel like I'm being disrespected in Serie A by saying I respect Serie A. I grew up in the 90s. But you turn up and you look like an inflatable version of yourself. Like a fucking like one of those those bouncy wrestling things.
Yeah.
And
I don't understand the point.
You never know what's going on in people's lives. So I don't want to.
Yeah.
But it is quite strange, I would say, that an athlete turned up in that shape, particularly in that circumstance. And yeah, it's very, very strange.
Mm. It will be interesting to see, given that Amorim dropped him fairly quickly again, whether he looks for a move or the club looks to make a move in the winter. I mean, they do, like, we said, like, when Tesco came in, only having one striker is a problem. So everything else is a compromise. It's Xerxes who's not a number 9. It's Cunha is not a number 9. And Chidiaobi who's still adjusting to life in the men's game, I'd say. That is a proper weakness in the squad. So if you could get some money for Xerxes and bring in a support striker, backup striker.
What we're talking about in the tactics pod last week is, are you buying a similar profile, or are you buying someone who gives you something different? Because Xerxes gives you something different. If you want someone you can play instead of Šeško and fits into this very rigid way of playing that you have, then it would make sense to sell Xerxes and try and buy. I mean, the problem is like, who are you buying? Because if it's someone who you're going to put behind Šeško, then you can't buy someone who's 3 or 4 years older, really, can you? I mean, like, so anyone who's 3 or 4 years older and really good is going to cost you. I mean, who are we even talking about? Almost no one in the world game. So,
right.
Are you then buying someone who's younger than Šeško to take the burden of Šeško? I mean, I guess you're giving yourself another option at least.
Yeah. Where is Odion Ighalo when you need him? And
like, it's quite hard to know who you buy, because if you buy someone you think is going to be brilliant, then I guess you've got competition for places, but you're only ever going to play one striker.
Yeah.
So, or are you looking for someone who can play a bit in behind? I mean, it's just, there's so much wrong.
It's challenging. It's just a big gap in the squad. What did you make of United's second half performance? Because they They did come out with a bit more intensity, I think.
It was better.
Yeah,
it was better. But again, the opposition was so poor that you can't read anything into that. And I mean, we know that they can do it because, I mean, obviously everyone beats Liverpool, so you can't think too much about that one. But they put it on Brighton, who are a good team, who should have beaten Villa the other day. So, but they can play well, but it's really hard. How do you change the inability to be intense all the time and the lack of bollocks to take control of the games? Because if you think about who the players are, right? So there's the players that we bought. So Sesko, Cunha, and Bruno. Are we saying it's them? Not really. And then you go, well, it's not Bruno or Casemiro either, is it? So then, and it's not the list. So it doesn't leave you with very many people, which then it's like some kind of invisible malaise that just infects the whole fucking club, because you can't put your finger on it, but yet you see it, that it's there. And it's just somehow as a collective, like, they're wet. And we've been saying this about so many of United teams for so long. They've also sometimes had decent players in them. But as a collective, they're insipid somehow. They're insubstantial. They're weak. They're tame. And how the fuck do you change that?
Yeah, it's if you brought in a coach, not that I'm saying I'm advocating for a change, or I like you suspect this won't work out, but we'll let it run its course and all that. But if you brought in a coach who's like famous for intensity, if Conte was parachuted in tomorrow, right, and he demands intensity, would the players respond to that? I presume so, right? They're all athletes that have sacrificed a lot to get here.
And look fit. They're in shape.
Are they not fit? Is it the way they're training? Because they've been doing full match training in the midweeks that we don't have games.
Yeah, it's confidence as well, I think.
Confidence, understanding of what they're supposed to be doing.
Assert yourself. You'd rather sit off and give yourself time to recover than engage. And you see it, the West Ham game, right, where they bottle go for a second goal, which they didn't do tonight, but again, they were playing a disgraceful team. So, but they don't have the confidence. It's obviously the confidence breeds confidence, but how do you get in to get the confidence breeding the confidence? Do you know what I mean? And they don't believe in themselves exactly, really. And we've seen that be the case with numerous managers, with numerous squads, all with different ways of doing it. And then when it comes to the time you've got to go over the top, and we saw it with Ole as well. Do you remember? Was it Sheffield United or someone where we go top or put pressure on City to win, and we have a shit team at home, and they completely freeze. I can't was it Sheffield? I can't remember. I think it was Sheffield United. It was a terrible team at home, and they just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's this thought that the shirt hangs heavy, and Amram's talked about it, and others, and so on. And I think Amram talked about Cunha, like him feeling the pressure to score goals, and him feeling it a bit too much. And there was some of that tonight, right? Every time he got the ball, he shot. Clearly keen to. I don't know why Wolves fans are booing him. What do they expect? So,
and he kept them up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So
I mean, I can see he should feel the pressure. That's fine. It's about. I actually thought today he did a good job of not particularly letting the pressure affect his performance. I thought he played well today. He
didn't kick anyone off. I expected some intensity from him.
He's someone also, right? He needs a lot of the ball, Cunha. So he takes risks. You need to get Bruno. You need to get him on the ball a lot, and we're not that good at that, because we're not that good at getting on the ball in dangerous areas. Often, like there'll be games we have a lot of the ball, but it's all like the keeper and the centre backs or whatever, the wing backs, and we struggle to get him on the ball, and he needs a lot of it. And today he got a lot of it, so he looked like a fucking good player, because he is. But you're asking,
what do you make of Mason Mount? Because
he's a good player.
He had another good game.
We know that. Yeah, we know he's a good player. We knew he was a good player when we signed him. He's now fit. if someone gives you a good problem, that balance of the team doesn't work with him in it, but it sort of does work with him in it because it gives you a bit more midfield control, but it gives you a bit less up front. And he's a good player.
He's one of the few that is platformed by this system, I guess. I think we said at the beginning of the season it should suit him well. And I think he does. I mean, he adds something. It's just, you're right. You like in a team that doesn't have enough attackers in it anyway, to use one of your three forwards as a midfielder whose historical output is not that awesome. I know he's got a couple of goals this season, but generally speaking,
3 and 5 shots or something. But maybe it's the case that this system allows him to do that, I suppose.
Yeah.
But the version of this team that goes on to challenge for titles, he's not a starter ultimately. And yet, the team sort of does tend to look better when he's in it. Because
we should do an exercise one week when we have no football in it and pick our squad for 2028 when Big Sir Jim and Omar Barada have told us we'll be winning the league again.
Yeah, we're in the league then. Well, I mean,
who of the current squad will be in it?
I want him. I'm happy for him to be in it. He's a really good player. The problem is what you end up with is the reason why it's good with him in the team is because he's covering for a hole in the system.
Yeah.
Whilst taking away from somewhere in the system that is already weak, i.e. not enough attackers on the pitch.
I suspect in 2 years' time, if United are the wheels haven't fully come off and they are challenging, that there'll be 10, 12 more players of the current group squad that won't be at the club anymore. I don't think that's an exaggeration.
If they're going to get good, they've got to get rid of the players that aren't as much.
Exactly. Yeah. Very, very true. Yeah. Next up will be Bournemouth, which will Monday night again, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it's a killer, that.
Jesus Christ. I mean, just talk about the most unfriendly fixture scheduling you could possibly get. Well, unless it was on a Boxing Day or something, yeah.
We're not playing on Boxing Day, are we, though?
No, we've got Newcastle. Is it Newcastle on the 27th? I can't remember. It's got Newcastle around then. Yeah. Because
it works. I think it works quite well for Sky. I don't know if it's for us to be the only game on one night, because that's the way of getting the most eyeballs. Whereas if United were on like one of those multiplex nights, then the eyeballs would get, would go in various places at the same time. But Bournemouth should be a good test, because they'll make it there. I mean, they're not playing particularly well, or at least they're not on a good run. They'll make it physical in terms of how hard you've got to run.
Very much.
But in doing that, you do need spaces, particularly for the bug swatch.
Yeah. They're one of the few sides in their division that plays more long balls than us. So very direct, very intense pressing. I think they're right at the top of the pressing metrics as well. And United are somewhere in the middle. They do leave a lot of passes before they press, but when they do, they are better coordinated, I'd say. But yeah, it'll certainly be a test, I think, of our ability to match a team that will be intense. And they won't do a Wolves, which was just leave acres and acres of space for us to run into. So that's why, like a game like today, you saw United playing forward balls quickly. And it's not long balls, it's just direct passing. What Opta would call a long ball, but it's not a hoof. And it worked really well because there's acres of space to run into. I'm sure that is not going to be the case next weekend, Monday.
Well, Bournemouth, they do sort of like to get a cage over one side. Like they go all out trying to win the ball. So
they force it down one side, yeah.
They do, like, if you can get out. I mean, we don't have any wingers, obviously. But if we did, that would be helpful.
That'd be top, yeah.
If you could find that would be good for them. But yeah, this is something else that kind of don't enjoy about the system, I guess, is no wingers. And the two wide, like you've got Ahmad, who is a winger. And I mean, coming inside on his foot, which, I mean, Ahmad sort of has to come inside on his good foot because I'm not sure he's fast enough or strong enough to get on the outside. But we don't have anyone trying to get on the outside, which makes the pitch small, which is hard when you're trying to get past defences.
It is. I think that's one of the other reasons we're being quite direct this season. I mean, Amorim talked about stretching the pitch, didn't he? So you've got to try and make it big somehow, and it's certainly not through width. with United. I wrote my Substack piece over the weekend on this because it feels like whatever the results that United are getting, and obviously a mixed bag, shall we say, that this doesn't fit with any kind of sense of what United's identity is, not just formation, but the way we're playing. It's either prosaic and this kind of pointless possession recycled back across the back three and then back again and then hoofed, or it's hoofed and none of it, and there's no academy players in the team at all, and none of that feels like it's a good fit with United tradition. I suppose it doesn't matter if you win; everyone will like, "Oh, so what?" You just move with the times.
I mean, I think we've been quite honest in terms of the way that we've discussed Mainoo in particular, who has some amazing things that he's good at. Then you kind of think, is the package good enough currently? Because you're trying to make a case for why it isn't, I guess, because you're trying to understand what the manager sees. And then at the same time, you're like, well, he's basically not played for over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
And that isn't right, given how wank the results have been. But even if they'd have been good, I'd still have been saying, this is a player with talent, we need to try and develop him. And we're not trying to develop him.
No, not at all. Yeah, you can make
shit. And it's been shit. And it's been particularly shit in his part of the field.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that is, I do find that an annoyance. And even though I understand why he doesn't fit this formation, again, it's also like, why are you so, like, why be so inflexible? But there's no fucking evidence to say that your way of playing is a way of playing that is so good, you shouldn't be flexible. And I know that he'll be like, well, it's not about the formation, it's about the principles. But no, well, it is about the formation, because the formation governs who gets picked for the team.
Mm-hmm.
Then fine, you could say what they do after that is because the principles are shit, not because 3-4-2-1 itself as a formation is shit. I can buy that. Your formation shit and your principles are shit. There's no evidence that this is some almighty elixir that leads to winning the Premier League or winning the Champions League. In fact, it's almost the fucking opposite, because everyone that does it isn't doing that. So you say that your system is this genius system that no football genius has ever come up with before, because it's quite rare that you sort of see formation tweaks that you think you haven't seen before. But if you look at the people that do them, so talk about, I don't know if Guardiola was the first to invert the fullbacks or whatever, but let's say he was for a second. Yeah. He won while he was doing it, and before he did it, he did something else, and he was winning doing that. And now it looks like he might be starting to win doing something slightly different.
Mm.
And this is someone who is renowned as a footballing purist, with obviously footballing principles, if lacking principles in some other areas. And then you've got this Ruben Amorim guy who's like, no, well, it's got to be like this. Mm. Why? Because that's what I know. Okay, but could you know some other things? Do all the other coaches that have ever lived and been successful know some other things?
Mm.
And the answer seems to be no. And that seems to be a crock of shit, which I see mainly reflected on the pitch. And I'm saying this obviously after we've run 4-1, because it's just, the build-up of shit just feels like, I mean, I think mentally I sort of myself half the way checked out after the Fulham game, which was right at the beginning of the season, because it just felt so similar to what we'd seen before not just in the way that United were playing, but sort of the mentality of the players. So it's like, okay, it's going to be a season like this. And now it gets a little bit better. I guess they play well. I enjoyed the Liverpool game. At least that was entertaining. It was fun. And they play well against Brighton. And then it gets wank again, really. And it's wank for all the same reasons. He's not going to change the formation. He's not going to change how he puts the players into the team. It doesn't seem like he's really changing the principles either. So just back to that. If we get you better players, it will make the team better. But what are you waiting for to happen with the players that are playing now? Because it's the you think that it's not the system, so it's the penny has to suddenly drop, right? Except why would that happen now, having not happened before?
Mm. It won't.
I find the psychology, like how he's thinking about it, like I don't get it.
Mm.
know the holidays have come and gone once again, but if you've forgotten to get that special someone in your life a gift, well, Mint Mobile is extending their holiday offer of half off unlimited wireless. So here's the idea. You get it now. You call it an early present for next year. What do you have to lose? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Limited time 50% off regular price for new customers. Upfront payment required. $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds may slow after 50 gigabytes per month when network is busy. See terms.
Mom, I saw Dylan's dad make dinner. Like, actually cook, and it was straight fire. He said it was Blue Apron Assemble and Bake. All the ingredients showed up pre-chopped, and he just laid it out on a baking sheet, and no cap. Dinner was on the table in like 25 minutes. Apparently, it's chef designed, and it has like over 40 grams of protein. That's a lot, right? So maybe we try it. Just saying. You can be the next Dylan's dad. Blue Apron. Get 50% off your first 2 orders plus free shipping with code LISTEN50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles Mackenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
No, I think you nailed it on the head there. The principles, there's no more time. You don't need a year for principles to sink in with footballers. And we've seen managers come into a club and 6 weeks later they're playing in a completely different style. So it certainly doesn't take a year's worth of training sessions, double training sessions, video analysis, all of the rest of it for this.
And if it does, it's too complicated.
Yeah, and if it does, it's too complicated. Yeah, footballers famous for thinking multi-dimensionally and all of that kind of stuff, But no, I think you're right. And I think there's probably a ceiling to which you could just buy better players. And there's a limit. There's a hard limit on cash as well. Just how much we can spend.
And these players have to be like these generational unicorns, players who've almost barely existed in the whole fucking history of football. You have wing-backs who are wingers. So, even say Cafu, right? Who, when I think of wingers like wing-backs, I might think of him. Is he scoring enough goals for you? Probably not. What the fuck? And then in midfield, you need to have Matheus and Robson or whatever. But even if you did, you'd still really want Scholes as well, or that kind of player, or someone to do something that those two didn't do, if you're not allowed. And then your outside centre-backs need to be Becker, Bauer and Sauer.
There you go, you've sorted it. So we buy 11 unicorns and it'll get solved.
Sugar.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I almost said we're heading down the home stretch. We're not quite. Are we a third of the way through the season? You're right. Nothing is going to seriously change. The United are not going to bring in 2 midfielders in the winter window and drop 200 million on it in order to fix whatever he thinks the holes are. Maybe they bring in 1 extra midfielder on loan if Mainoo goes out. Who knows? It's not going to be loads of business. So it will be this for the rest of the season. I agree that I don't think they're going to suddenly learn more and the penny's going to drop even more. So the results are going to be inconsistent from here to the end of the season. Fortunately, everyone else is, right? So AFCON could be really damaging. Yeah. And the whole of our right side today will be out.
And as of today, an eminently losable FA Cup third round tie.
I haven't seen it, Daniel. You'll have to tell me.
Breaking news, Brighton at home.
Brighton at home.
Not a fixture we could lose, a fixture we usually lose.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Got
one over on our bogey team this year. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go. Eminently losable, that one. AFCON is going to be really painful because that's the whole of our right side out. And Shea Lacey hasn't got a single minute so far. So, presumably, he's not going to just slot in there.
And something you might do in that situation, that seems to make the most sense, would be to put Bruno forward with a Boomer and put Mainoo next to Casemiro. And it feels like that's not going. He won't do that, will he?
I'd say it's highly unlikely. He's shown that he doesn't want to do that.
It'll be Mount. I mean,
it'll be Mount. Yeah. So, I mean, it may be only a few points in it. That's the thing. The difference between a Europa League spot and no European football at all. I mean, I take no European football at all ahead of the conference, I think, just because that's basically going to cost you money. You have to get a bigger squad for it.
And it's also just a shame on you every
It's just so embarrassing.
It's just absolutely shame.
Thursday night going away to the Lithuanian third best side and losing, that kind of thing.
But a lot of fun for people who are travelling. But
a lot of fun for people travelling, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the thing is because every team from sort of about 4th to 14th is not really good, but has good players. And so any of them can be any of them more or less on any day. And none of them are good enough to be consistent enough to put away. And we have, during AFCON, we do, the fixtures are not terrible, are they? There's like Villa away, but otherwise it's Wolves again and some other shite, forget who.
Newcastle, I think.
Like it's not dreadful. We do need to make fucking sure we don't get knocked out the cup though, goodness me.
Yeah, I mean, just think about what a dire second half of the season that's going to be with no midweeks at all.
Fighting to not get into the conference.
I know. I mean, I really like the conference as a competition. It's been great to expand European football to more teams, but it's just really bad for teams like Manchester United.
For us. We shouldn't be allowed to be in it. I think that's like if you've won a European trophy or something, you shouldn't be allowed to be in it. It's a complete nonsense. But we're not like we shouldn't be worse than Chelsea. And when we played them, we weren't. Because our best level is good enough. Is good enough to finish 4th.
Mm-hmm.
We can't hit it very often, and our worst level and our modal level are obviously obscene. We should be able to get into the Europa at least, really. And
that would be acceptable, I think.
I guess we did at least score 4 goals today, and we looked like we were trying to. Like we didn't sit off at 2-1. I mean, we sat off a little bit, but then we were still, and we did sit off a bit of 1-0 as well, but we were still trying to score at the end.
I was looking for that after he substituted 2 centre-backs and then also Dalot. So, 3 defensive changes and Casemiro, 4 defensive changes. I was looking for the drop-off and it didn't happen today. Most of the time it does. So.
If you don't bring on Shea Lacey in that situation, you're basically saying he's just an ornament.
Yeah, he's an ornament, yeah. And maybe or maybe not, he gets some time at AFCON, but I think they will patch things together with the players they've got rather than do that.
It feels unlikely, doesn't it? And the way he speaks about him, he's not really effusing, is he? And
he's not effusing about any of the younger players.
So is he saying they're not good enough, or is that just his way? I genuinely don't know the answer to this. But I guess it feels. I don't know, like he's someone who you would think his man management will be quite subtle and different for the different people. It doesn't really feel like that, does it?
Well, I think publicly, and he's been pushed a little bit by the press who've started asking him some more pointed questions. I mean, Carl Anker asked him the one that he got really annoyed about Kobbie Mainoo in the press conference.
What was the question? I didn't hear it. What was the question?
You've talked about Kobbie, but he never plays, basically. And Amorim was sort of, well, you're saying that. You're saying he's good. Maybe you want him to play, but I have to pick the team. And he's just a little bit tetchy. It was a bit weird. So he's normally, at least in the first few months at the club, he was kind of happy to go along with all the interviews, and he would just give way too open questions. And maybe he's feeling the pressure a little bit. But look, is it a surprise that he doesn't trust some of the younger players? None of these players have grown up in systems that look anything like this, right? I mean, Shea Lacey's probably one of the closest because he is outside to in kind of forward, isn't he? And it's a good analogy to Brian Mbeumo. Obviously, 0 experience in the men's game, Lacey, so you wouldn't expect to drop him in there and him to be at Mbeumo's level. That's unfair, but there's not many of them would obvious fits for this system.
It sort of just feels like if you're already putting him in the squad, then I don't know, like, they're just, the way that you speak about him, I'd just be more inclined to be like, if you don't think he's ready, that's fine, but say, like, he can be a top player, blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't feel like if you were Shea Lacey and you saw any of what he said, it would make you feel better about yourself than you did. And don't always have to be gassed up to feel like that, but the best managers do make the players feel 10 feet tall.
And I think with some of the younger players, you want to show them that there's a pathway. Otherwise, they go elsewhere. I mean, everyone's looking at JJ Gabriel, who's an unbelievable talent. The guy's fucking ridiculous. The amount of times he's playing under 18s football, age 15, and he already looks a level above. Technically, physically, not so much. But you want to show him a pathway because 2027 he can walk away for free. And
I mean, I kind of get the feeling he's not going to play for United, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've got,
let's see,
like coming back to Kobbie, if you've got Kobbie in the squad and he's not playing, it's a signal, isn't it? You know, they won't have played together because Mainoo's obviously 7 years older.
That. But, I think it's more like, if United going to be good enough?
There's that too.
I think it's more that if he gets an offer from Real Madrid, let's say he's good enough to go anywhere and he gets a massive offer from Real Madrid or whatever, then yeah, I would be particularly surprised if he went there before he'd even played for United.
Every director of football across Europe knows about this kid. So, you know, you can throw away some of the press commentary about it. I saw Luckwurst wrote a piece for The Sun the other day saying Barcelona were circling. It's none of this is new news or anything like that. But you want to show these kids that they've got a chance of getting to United. Otherwise, they will go elsewhere. I mean, we benefited the other way round, right? The pitch to Aidan Heaven, Chido Obi is pathway to the first team. And I mean, so they both left Arsenal.
I mean, but I think, I mean, it's a thing. It's a funny thing, isn't it, with Chido? Just because, I mean, I haven't been particularly impressed when I've seen him, really. I mean, he did look more dangerous than Højlund when he came on in the first team last season, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this kid's mustard. Didn't feel like that at all. If I'm honest, I haven't really felt like that watching him play age group football.
He's not been brilliant this season. I mean, it's a development year, isn't it? So,
but at the same time, strikers on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Except this manager won't. There's no need for it because you only ever have one striker on the pitch at any one time. I mean, it's fucking mind-boggling, really, isn't it?
Did you catch before we leave?
The 1999 Champions League final? He's got probably just like fucking Sheringham on.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Did I?
Fergie, I wonder what Fergie would think because he was just the ultimate gambler. Just knew when to gamble. Never had any fear about it either. Never, you know, to United's detriment sometimes, but mostly to benefit. Did you catch the? I forget what the podcast is called with Scholes and Butt.
I mean, it's not. I mean, I see. You see the clips, I guess.
It's one of the overlap family of not stick to football. One of the other ones, good football, bad football. I think it's called. Anyway, they're talking about Kobbie in there. I always think that Butt. Of the ex-United pundits from that era, right, or you know, stretch the era out a little bit. Most of them are terrible. Yeah, I really don't like most of them. I always think he's the most sort of head screwed on kind of, and he's not a regular pundit. Maybe that's it. He doesn't feel the need to have to make it clippable. But he was talking about Kobbie Mainoo, and he was like, if I was advising him. And I'm not, but if I was having a coffee with him, I'd tell him to go to Chelsea. Not the one I'd pick, honestly. I don't know why
exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's somewhere I'd say definitely don't go there. Like they've got, not stable and a lot of players for his position.
Yeah, and they move players around all the time. So I suppose if you want to be moved on in 2 years' time for a profit, that would be your place. But
that is kind of, I mean, he probably where would he go in England? I mean, really. Like, which are the clubs that he would go to would buy him?
Newcastle could do with an extra midfielder, I think. I mean, he's more technical than Joe Linton. Joe Linton's not having a great season. Spurs could definitely do with another midfielder, although do you want to go to Spurs
right now?
No. Yeah. I mean, it seems like if he's going to go anywhere, it'll be abroad, and that's his preference. And just wait it out to see whether this manager is here for the long term or not.
Yeah.
All righty, I think that's probably it. You can catch us on patreon.com. We did last week, we did one on the World Cup. That would almost certainly get me deported, but it's behind a paywall and I haven't seen the State Department signing up yet, Daniel. My Substack's at nqatpod.substack.com if you want a newsletter. We are on the socials. You're not really on social media anymore, Daniel. I don't see you posting on Blue Sky.
I haven't posted anywhere for months. I'm tried. Yeah, I guess I think I've said this before. I got banned from Twitter a while, like for posting YouTube links years ago. And that was a hard stop, obviously, almost. I mean, I had like the United Rewind account, but I wasn't really tweeting general shit talking on that. So that was I had quite a long time where I was more or less off it. And then it came back and it was around the time it started to feeling different, Musk and all the rest of it. So I was kind of like, well, I'm going to stop posting on this. And then I got hacked. And then I guess it doesn't feel something, I guess I didn't feel like it was something that felt particularly good for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I hate it. So I don't engage that much on Twitter these days. And I don't get into arguments with people because it's just pointless and not good for your mental health. But if you don't rage post consistently, you don't get any engagement on there. And it's the same with, funny enough, I've been thinking about this. If anyone out there is a YouTube expert and understands how this stuff works, drop me a line. Because our views, not that our views were ever particularly big for the podcast, they're a fraction of the audio audience, but they just dropped off a cliff for no reason. I have no idea why. And of course, once you're in that death spiral, it's hard to get out of it. So yeah, anyway. That is it. We will catch you probably later in the week with a proper preview of Bournemouth. We're doing a finance pod, talk about some of the stuff that's going on at the moment in the world of football finance. And apart from that, we'll catch you next time. Daniel, thank you very much.
So, see everyone. Thanks a lot.